Welcome to Geoscope. Today we're diving into one of the most explosive defense disputes in decades. A high-stakes clash between Washington and Ottawa that's shaking NATO. U.S. President Donald Trump is pressing for $20 billion in submarine contracts to flow into American shipyards, but Canada has shut that door, moving forward with its own $60 billion patrol submarine project, led by Germany's ThyssenKrupp and South Korea's Hanwha. This isn't just about steel and sonar, it's about sovereignty, industry, and the future of Allied defense. Let's break it down. At the turn of the millennium, Canada made a purchase that would haunt its navy for decades. The Victoria-class submarines, acquired secondhand from the UK in 1998, were presented as a bargain, a cost-effective way to maintain a submarine capability in an era of post-Cold War budget cuts. They were meant as a stopgap. But the stopgap became a permanent problem. Plagued by technical faults from a deadly fire aboard HMCS Chicoutimi to persistent electrical issues, the fleet earned a reputation as lemons. For years, the Royal Canadian Navy struggled to keep even one of the four boats operational at any given time. Decades of costly maintenance and low availability left Ottawa with a fleet that was not only aging, but barely seaworthy. Meanwhile, the world was changing. Nowhere is that more apparent than in the high north. The Arctic is transforming. As climate change accelerates, melting ice is opening strategic new shipping lanes like the Northwest Passage, waters Canada claims as its own. This new accessibility has not gone unnoticed. Russia, viewing the Arctic as its strategic backyard, is heavily investing in its northern fleet and stepping up under ice patrols with its own advanced submarines. The pressure isn't just coming from the north. Further afield, China is aggressively projecting power into blue water seas, building a world-class navy to secure its global trade routes and challenge the existing order. For a trading nation like Canada, this shift has profound implications. At the same time, allies are growing impatient. NATO continues to pressure Canada to meet its commitment and move closer to the 2% defense spending target, demanding members contribute high-end capabilities, with submarines at the top of the list. Faced with these converging crises, Ottawa has launched its most ambitious naval project in a generation. The Canadian Patrol Submarine Project aims to deliver up to 12 modern Arctic-ready boats, with the first arriving by the mid-2030s. These won't be another stopgap. They must be exceptionally stealthy, possess intercontinental range, and be specifically designed for the harsh, unforgiving conditions of icy waters. But the project's goals extend beyond defense. It's also a nation-building exercise designed to fuel Canadian industry from the shipyards of Halifax to the tech hubs of Vancouver. In a pointed strategic decision, Ottawa is looking beyond its traditional American partners. By excluding U.S. shipbuilders and their Virginia-class submarines, and instead mandating significant local participation with European or Asian partners, Ottawa is trading potential short-term friction with Washington for long-term industrial and military resilience. It's a high-stakes gamble that pits trade dependence and alliance politics squarely against the pursuit of true national sovereignty. Trump's pitch was blunt. If Canada buys submarines, they should be built in America. His argument? It secures supply chains, creates U.S. shipyard jobs, and showcases America-first industrial policy. But Ottawa rejected the offer, handing its largest naval contract abroad. For Canada, the risks were clear. Tariffs, political cycles, and over-reliance on Washington. U.S. shipyards are already maxed out with Columbia and Virginia-class subs, raising concerns of delays and cost spikes. Trump allies branded Canada's decision a betrayal of U.S. workers and NATO solidarity. Ottawa countered that diversification strengthens resilience and shields against American protectionism. The result, a political stalemate and an industrial fork in the road. Canada's choice has narrowed to two giants, Hanwha Ocean, South Korea, offering lithium-ion battery tech for longer dives, advanced sensors, and rapid timelines. 4 boats by 2035, with a potential fleet of 12 later. ThyssenKrupp Marine Systems, Germany, presenting the NATO-tested Type 212 CD with hydrogen fuel cell propulsion, proven logistics, and interoperability with European allies. Ottawa isn't just comparing brochures. Arctic survivability, endurance, stealth, payload, domestic production, and intellectual property rights all matter. Both bidders promise jobs and technology transfer, but the final call will define Canada's naval future well into the 2040s. For the US, Canada's rejection means lost expectations. Shipyards stretched with Navy programs saw Canadian orders as a welcome cushion. Suppliers from steel mills to sonar electronics firms prepared for contracts that vanished overnight. Big yards remain busy, but smaller suppliers now face thinner pipelines. Labor unions see a lost chance for skilled jobs, and politically Washington's industrial diplomacy takes a hit. For decades, the U.S. tied allies into its defense supply chains. Ottawa's breakaway signals others may follow. Critics blame tariffs for pushing partners toward independence. Supporters say it proves allies must invest more at home. Either way, America's credibility as the arsenal of democracy is now being tested. Canada's defiance isn't just a procurement choice, it's a signal of a larger global trend. The era of the U.S. as the default arsenal for its allies is fading. Mid-tier powers are now building regional defense ecosystems, fostering their own industries, and forging new partnerships to avoid strategic over-reliance on any single supplier. If Ottawa chooses a Korean design, it's a pivot towards Asia's dynamic shipbuilding sector. Korean yards are renowned for delivering complex vessels on time and on budget, a powerful lure for a government facing a critical deadline. The choice would also deepen Canada's ties in the Indo-Pacific. If it chooses Germany, it reinforces Europe's push for strategic autonomy. This would align Canada with the continent's industrial heartland and its goal of creating a more self-reliant European defense pillar within NATO. It's a vote of confidence in a rebalanced transatlantic partnership. Both paths deliberately move away from U.S. dominance. This isn't an anti-American stance, it's pragmatic. The U.S. submarine industrial base is stretched to its limit, committed to its own fleet and the AUKUS Pact. For Canada, waiting in that queue means unacceptable delays. For NATO, the picture is complicated. This diversification creates a logistical puzzle. Fragmented fleets challenge interoperability, making common tactics, shared spare parts and seamless repairs, the bedrock of coalition warfare, significantly harder to achieve. But diversified supply chains dramatically increase collective resilience. A single point of failure, a shipyard bottleneck, a cyber attack, or political sanctions can no longer cripple the alliance's entire undersea capability. This distribution of risk is a powerful defense. Canada is betting that this newfound resilience will ultimately outweigh the friction of a less standardized fleet. Adversaries are watching closely. Any delay is a strategic gift. China benefits if the West's submarine capability stalls, giving it more freedom in the Pacific. Russia benefits if NATO's Arctic patrols lag, allowing it to further militarize the High North. That's why Canada's 2030's deadline is a geopolitical red line. The choice of partner is secondary to the imperative of delivery. Failing to field a capable submarine fleet on time means risking control of the Northwest Passage and allowing rivals to gain a strategic corridor between two oceans. Canada's rejection of U.S. shipyards is far more than a procurement spat. It's a seismic pivot in the defense relationship between two of the world's closest allies, signaling the end of an era where American defense solutions were the default choice. This decision forces a fundamental reassessment of a partnership once considered unbreakable. For Canada, this is a declaration of strategic independence. It's about sovereignty, the ability to build and operate its own critical defense assets. It's about cultivating a domestic industrial base with high-tech jobs. And crucially, it's about Arctic security. As melting ice opens new strategic waterways, a capable submarine fleet is a necessity for defending Canada's vast northern frontier. For the U.S., it's a stark warning. The long-held assumption that its industrial clout and political influence would guarantee its place in Allied defense projects is being challenged. This isn't an isolated incident, but a symptom of a broader global trend where allies have more options and are willing to use them. The America First doctrine may have backfired spectacularly. The reported $20 billion demand didn't strong-arm Ottawa. It accelerated Canada's search for partners in Europe and Asia. This move reflects a wider anxiety within NATO, where member states, wary of political volatility, are increasingly focused on bolstering their own industries and diversifying their defense supply chains. With South Korea's Hanwha and Germany's ThyssenKrupp in the lead, Ottawa stands at a historic crossroads. The choice is no longer just about the best submarine, it's a profound geopolitical statement. A partnership with Hanwha would deepen ties to the Indo-Pacific, while a deal with ThyssenKrupp reinforces transatlantic bonds. Ottawa's choice will reshape its navy, its industry, and its alliances for decades. The implications are massive, and the debate is far from over. So what do you think? Was Ottawa's bold move a necessary act of national self-interest, correctly prioritizing its own economic and security needs? Or was it a strategic misstep, undermining Western alliance solidarity at a time when unity is more critical than ever? Should it have backed U.S. shipyards for NATO cohesion? We want to hear your detailed analysis in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the powerful forces shaping our world, make sure you subscribe to Geoscope.